Claim your free AirPods today by clicking the first link in the description down below.
r/AskReddit. What industry is the biggest scam? College textbooks. Edit. My god. Reddit. My inbox. I understand how you all feel. College textbooks are a method-looking racket. That and homework programs like MyMathLab and WebAssign. The fact that I have to pay to do homework is ducking highway robbery. Sorry, your answer is not correct. Correct answer, WebAssign and MyMathLab. Your answer, MyMathLab and WebAssign. Trains in the UK pay nationalised taxes for nationalised rails, so private train companies can charge private rates. It's like we took the most expensive part of each option and combined the most slash. Edit. Made this comment then went to college. Came back and seriously wondered what I'd done to piss off Reddit when I saw my inbox. It all worked out though, other than my insurmountable need to read every single one. Flying from Amsterdam to London Luton is cheaper than taking the train from Luton to London. So yeah, I'd have to agree. It cost me more for the return train travel from Leeds to Manchester than it did to fly to Germany and back. Mobile game industry. Designed on principles of addiction instead of spreading fun. I was talking to someone about this yesterday. A lot of science goes into mobile games. It's really astounding and interesting to learn about. I'd love to get involved in some of that. It's the science of taking people's money and making it fun for them at the same time. Freemium games are like heroin. You get the high from the free trials. But in order to get the same high again, clearing higher stages, you'd had to pay. Scientology. Cease and desist immediately. We are sending enforcement volunteers to your home and workplace to ensure compliance. This is your only warning. You're clearly joking. Because they won't tell you they are sending enforcement to your home. They just show up and threaten to bankrupt you. For-profit colleges. Especially at Technical Institute. Tuition for a 2-year non-transferable degree is nearly $50,000. I taught there for almost 3 years. The horror stories stunned and saddened me. I withdrew after a semester and a half. It was obvious. I was getting robbed. Walk into class and they just call out names of people who haven't paid tuition. Their version of attendance. Failed a test. Teacher pulled me aside and went over every question and answer. Gave me a 100. If only I can shake this girl Sally me. They're letting people out of their EdTech loans, my friend. Due to governmental violations and whatnot. Look into it. Televangelists. Always and forever. Praise be. Now give me some of your money and sow that seed carrot ACTUALLY. Argo ala duck carrot YOURSELF. College tuition. Let's raise prices because they will just take a student loan anyways. When the government mandated $5,000 in student loans for every one per year, the price of college went up by $5,000. Is this real? The Star Registry. Where you pay some stupid amount of money and they name a star after you. What gets me about those services is that it's standing international law that everything beyond the planet Earth is classified as a treasure to all mankind, and thus no one can legally lay claim anything. An old friend of mine got a star named after her by her husband. What's funny is that he actually gave it the truncated version of her name she went by on a forum we used to frequent. This name was a strap. He literally paid money to name a star. Star. In Latin. Edit. Bit of an oopsie. A strap is Greek. Not Latin. Opal a strap. Best car of my life. Diamonds. Artificially inflated pricing on top of acting like buying a cool looking rock for a ton of money is a sign of love. Create the demand and control the supply. An economic dream. Printers, especially inkjet, you have to refill/buy a new cartridge every time one of them gets low. Even if you don't even need the color, you end up spending fortunes just on the ink itself, when you can actually buy a laser printer for a more expensive starting price. But in the long term you save money. I literally hate Epson and HP in particular. Companies are also known to make the ink percentage detection inaccurate, often leaving empty cartridges actually 10-20% full. Most inkjet printers are sold at a loss for the manufacturer. The ink is where they make their money. Yeah, I used to work at Office Maximum about 10 years ago, and we actually sold printers for free. After rebates the ink was $30.45 a pop. It was nuts. Multi-level marketing. I was going to say Herbalife, but that is a subcategory under MLM. So I'll place my little comment under yours. Multi-level commenting. My water bill. I used $5 of water in a month. The bill featured an additional $95 for administrator fees. One of my old cities had a minimum $48 bill. I only ever used like $25. Looks like someone needs to take more or longer showers. Insulin. The patents expired over 80 years ago, yet there is still no competition in the US. If you run insured, be prepared to pay $1,000 a month or die. I'm lucky I live on the border. A 10 milliliter vial of NPH insulin is 60 pesos, about $3 US. The fact that people in the richest country on earth die from not being able to afford marked up $3 medicine is heinous. I can't believe nobody else has mentioned it, the alternative medicine industry, including homeopathy. Edit, it's been fun, people, but I'm off to bed. It's late in New Zealand, and I have a full day ranting tomorrow. The less you talk about homeopathy, the more important it is. If homeopathy is mentioned in a medical reference book one time, all of the other medical procedures in that book become homeopathy. US private prisons. Edit, RIP inbox. Edit 2, for those of question regarding US's private prison sectors. There are plenty of info below the comments, which would explain how much of a scam it is. There is also a movie about it on Netflix. I couldn't believe this was a thing when I first heard about it. I couldn't believe that when you get out of prison you are sent a bill for your time served. College Board TOEFL Act. I just calculated my costs, and sending scores to colleges costs almost as much as applying to them. I got a GRE study book that explicitly said that the GRE was a useless assessment of ability. After the first time I took the GRE I ran a few quick mental numbers, where I made some assumptions about how many people retake the thing in a single year, etc. The GRE is a giant scam. Easily at least $1 billion a year. My favorite part is that you can literally study for the GRE math section out of an SAT study book. It's literally, can you still do the same math you could do 4 years ago? But for me, I went to a liberal arts college for a physics undergrad. One time I had a professor flat out tell us she wouldn't give us any credit if we just wrote the right answer but didn't show any work. I always have a miserable time with the GRE math section because it's literally the exact opposite of how I was trained. They want you to pump out right answers without regard for understanding how you got the answer. Whereas in my education, understanding how you got to the answer you did was more important than getting the right answer. For instance, the professor who insisted that we show our work to get any credit was slow about returning exams because she'd go through everyone's answers and follow what you were doing and assign partial credit accordingly. Paraphrasing her, she was there to see if you could do calculus, not algebra. She'd penalize you for dropping a factor of 2 or a half along the way, but not as severely as if you straight up ducked up the integral. And the slowness was because she'd take the time to dock you a couple of points for dropping that factor of 2, but then proceed to grade the problem as though you were solving the intended integral. So she couldn't just grade you off an answer rubric. She was literally taking the time for each and every one of us to note where we derped, but then otherwise followed through correctly. I'm a blackjack dealer. Casinos are such a racket, it's the only thing most people know about them. They are correct. The house doesn't like it when people win. Not always true. They play a long game. Winning makes you come back. Weddings. Yup. The wife and I eloped and made a long weekend out of it. The whole thing, including gas, lodging, rings, clothes, minister, and paperwork, totaled maybe $500. Though if I had to do it over again, I'd spring for a professional photographer. She invited 2 friends along, and they handled photos and food. And the pictures are okay. Our pictures were done by a friend and they were horrible. Roof restoration. If you have a small water leak from a single cracked tile, a roof restoration company will claim that all your tiles have become porous and you need to get the roof restored. Which is basically where they pressure hose the roof. Funny that they would do this first. Aren't the tiles supposedly now porous to water? And then spray paint it. It'll cost you $15K. A handyman will replace your broken tile for $100. They are called storm chasers. They actually get the homeowner's insurance to pay for it. Also, the pros pay for reports and maps from NOAA showing where and when the hailstorms came. Usually a 1-year time limit to claim from the insurance companies. Also, they tend to know which insurance companies pay out more and easily. Finally, they also hit the jackpot when the house has aluminum siding. Edit NOAA. My nephew does this. My soon to be a millionaire nephew. The fitness industry. Every musclehead on the planet thinks they can peddle their magic fart powder for $50 a bottle when it's just caffeine and a bunch of other stuff you've never even heard of. Fight milk. Riot juice. Fake relationships. More people are lonely today than ever before. In a country of 5 million people, Norway was scammed for $35 million in 2014, only counting fake online relationships. You're lonely and it seems like it'll stay that way. Then you meet this great guy/gal on Match.com who gives your life meaning. Wow. You won't die alone and miserable. You grow connected to this person. You come to love this person. He/she says there is a need for money. Just some money. You will get it back when they run into your arms. You believe it. Because you love this person. You send money. Then some more. Then a lot more. Since you've already sent a lot, you're not going to stop. That might make the person not love you anymore. This is a terrible scam, and it's hurting people where it matters most. My mom fell for this. It was after her divorce. She wasn't even buying food for us kids to eat. But she didn't bat an eye at sending $5,000 to a 6'3" blonde, blue-eyed German guy living in Africa. When I found she was going to send $10K, I called the police to see if they could talk to her. They did. But she still sent it. A few years later she complained about being $90K in debt. And I had a hard time feeling sympathy for her while thinking back to all the nights I went to sleep hungry. Match.com has verified profiles for this reason. But if you pay enough, you can verify anything. Freaking concert ticket sales. Dr. Ketmaster. How has no one said fitness and supplements? It's ridiculous how many lies are fed to people. Told coworker I was going low carb. Immediately she got all excited and asked, "So you're going to cut out gluten?" Well, celiac does run in my family. I don't have it, so I'm only going to cut out most carbs. Gluten isn't even a carb, WTF. Cable companies. I use a combination of Vudu, Netflix, and the $5 movie/TV show being at Walmart, and it's way cheaper than cable TV. You can go to a friend's house to watch sports games or viewing party at a local bar. Old school antennas have improved vastly too. However, if you want good quality streaming, then maybe you have to pay more for higher speed internet. Even then it doesn't come close to a cable bill. Edit. I'm not a big sports person, so I don't really need the sports channel. My cousins like to have viewing parties for the big games, and all the bars in my hometown host viewing parties with discounted drinks and food. Not if you watch sports every night. Though even then Swansling at better deals. I'm surprised I haven't seen it up here yet, but timeshares. Spent 4 hours this weekend in Vegas listening to a guy try to convince me that paying $200 a month plus a maintenance fee every year is going to get me one weekend anywhere in the world. If I put that money away, I could just go to those places on my own. Plus, if I could put $200 away a month, I would already be doing that. I can't put away $200 a month cause I've already fell victim to the textbook and tuition scams. Worked in the industry for a short time, not related to sales. In the future, you can walk out the moment your committed time is up. If it's a 90-minute presentation, get up and walk out at minute 91. You'll still get your gifts.